A sitting or former American president has never been charged with a crime. But for the first time in U.S. history, lawmakers are holding public hearings that could lead to a recommendation Donald Trump be held legally responsible for attempting to overturn the results of the 2020 election.
Donald Trump summoned a mob to Washington, D.C., and ultimately spurred that mob to wage a violent attack on our democracy.
The January 6th committee, composed of 7 Democrats and 2 Republicans, does not have the power to try former President Donald Trump on crimes relating to the attack on the U.S. Capitol. But it is presenting evidence that the U.S. Department of Justice could use to bring charges against him.
As the full picture is coming into view with the January 6th committee, it has become clear that the efforts Donald Trump oversaw and engaged in were even more chilling and more threatening than we could have imagined.
In a 12-page document repeating many of his discredited claims of election fraud, Trump objected that the televised hearings have allowed for no exculpatory evidence or cross-examination of witnesses. But many legal experts say the committee is building a solid case, suggesting Trump is personally responsible for multiple crimes.
So I think conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding is certainly one of the things that could be charged. Potentially conspiracy to defraud the United States, that has to do with all of the completely baseless assertions of election fraud. Trump had no evidence whatsoever and knew that there was no evidence. That's also come out during these hearings. Inciting insurrection would be another one. If you could tie Trump's actions to the insurrection in a direct way, that's a little bit harder to prove.
Several legal experts have also pointed out that any attempt to prosecute Trump could hinge on whether the former president actually believed his own claims of fraud, a difficult point to prove. Lawmakers say a tweet by Trump on December 19, 2020, was a rallying cry for extremist groups to attack the Capitol.
I think based on what we've seen from court filings from the Department of Justice, which has released private chat messages from the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, we saw that tweet really crystallize the date of January 6th as the final chance for these groups to engage in what they thought was, their moment in history, right? Their chance to prevent what they thought was a stolen election.
The January 6th committee is now expected to conduct hearings into the fall, holding its ultimate findings until after the midterm elections. That could delay the historically unprecedented move of a Department of Justice under the administration of one president, charging a former president and political rival.
It means you're always in a state of political chaos and the potential for a kind of civil war. And it's not the way the United States rule of law system has operated for 200 years. But Trump is a sui generis president. There has never been a presidency even remotely like his, and there certainly has never been an incident anything like this attack on the Congress and this attempt to overthrow a legitimate election, at least since the Civil War. So we're really in uncharted territory.
An Associated Press NORC poll conducted at the end of June found that half of American adults say Trump should be charged with a crime for his role in the attack on the U.S. Capitol.